Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. Today I'm going to be doing stages 66 to 71 of the Fanhome release of Build the Spider-Man Iron Spider armor. Okay, now, I don't know what's been going on with this collection, but we haven't had it for some time. That's why you haven't seen it for some time. And at the moment, we're only getting 3 stages per pack. Now, because I've been away and I've been very busy, I already had 3 stages. I had another 3 delivered, which is why today we're doing 6 stages. So, probably best to just catch up where we left it last time. So if you remember last time, we built this arm for the Iron Spider. This is solid metal. It's really heavy as well. And I'm guessing we're going to be doing some more of this today. I don't know, because there's some really detailed stuff in the boxes here. I've got like 6 packs behind me, so I think this is going to take a little bit longer than it normally does. I don't even know if this is still available, but once again, I have put the link in the video description and the QR code on the screen. But without further ado, let's get cracking. Okay, let's have a look. Stage 66. Here is the magazine, and we've got all of these parts here for the upper left spider leg that we're doing at the moment, looking just like this. And this is the rest of the magazine. Now, once again, I am going to be using my little device that was brought to me by a viewer called Jonathan Haynes. This is available in my Amazon store, and I'm so much enjoying this at the moment because it's got a torque setting, so I can actually screw things in like a normal wow stick, but I have got the power to do it now. And if you're interested to know the specs and everything about that, then it's in my Amazon store, both in the US and the UK, so you can see that for yourself. Okay, let's get this open. Let me give you a quick update on Dave. Dave is not in here. Dave is missing at the moment, which is still unnerving. So I'm under the constant watch of Dave. He's somewhere in here. If you're unsure who Dave is, then check out yesterday's video. Okay, right. First thing we're going to do is we're going to be putting these 2 parts here together. Now, they're going to be going this way round so it can fit flush. Just like that. And I'm holding it in with an E-screw. I believe that's the only screw that comes in this stage. I'll put it on medium torque because I don't want it to do too much, but there you go, that's in. This then is going to be going onto this piece here, and basically just putting that in like that. Excellent. Now, they're not meant to hold themselves together yet. It's the next pieces that we put on are going to do that. Then we're just going to be taking this, what are they calling this? The right inner claw body. Just identify the difference between the right and the left one. This is the right one. I don't think it's stamped right, actually. But you'll know you've got the right one because it should fit nicely in there just like that. Again, it's one of these E-screws. I'm going to be putting that just through the hole here. Perfect. Then I'm going to be putting the top one on, which is the other side. Lovely. And again, we need an E-screw, which is going to go through this top piece just there. Then I've got this massive hook sheath part here, which goes into this. So that's fitting nice and flush on the top. And then we're holding this in by pushing these into the cavity gaps that we've got here. So one's going to go in this side, and then I'm holding that in with some screws. So I need 2 of these E-screws. They're just going to go into the points here. And I need 1 more, just there. Which will then enable me to take the last piece here and just push that over the top. And that's going to hold itself in. And that is all there is to do in that stage. Even though I don't know where Dave is, spawn of Dave's up there. He's a little tiny one. Okay, so stage 67. Here is the magazine. Lots of little parts in this. Again, working on the spider legs here. So that's going to look just like that there. We're still working on the same leg, so you can imagine how big these actually are. I will show you once we got to this stage how big this is. There you go. And here is stage 67. Let's get everything out. Okay, first thing to do is to bring over what we were working on before. We're going to be putting some trim in here. Now we want the longer distance end to be going down the end here, but we do have a couple of these. So this is definitely the one that we're fitting in here. It should fit in perfectly just like that, but we are holding it in from the other side once again with these E-screws. But the way they're going to go is because we've got that trim on one side, we need to put this part of the trim on the other side first, which is actually going to join everything together. Excellent. And then it will enable me to put the E-screws in here. And we need 3 of these. Now, obviously, we want to hide the holes in here now. So that's what we're using these little clips for. So I'm going to put my magnifying glasses on because they are numbered. I need to see the numbers. So this is number 5. This is number 4. And this is number 6. So 6 is going towards the end here, which means 5's here. And lastly, 4 will be at the top. There you go. And they're all in just like that. No sign that there's any screws. Then we're going to be adding onto this section just here. So let's get this right. What we're going to do first is we're going to be putting in this side of the arm, which is going to go on here. But in between this and that, we do have these little friction discs here. So that's going to go in. Let's get this right. That's going to go in like that. This then can fit over the top here. Just like that. And now I'm going to be passing one of these screws and nuts through this. So let's get that open next. So that's on there. The nut is going through the whole thing there. That's going to hold that in so I can turn this over. Then on this side, we're going to be putting another friction washer there. I'm going to be putting its partner over the top here, this way round. So then all of these are going to be clipping together just like that. And then I've got the square nut going in there. I'm frantically trying to hold everything together so I can screw that in. There you go. It's actually using a Allen head screw. So I bought these new things here. So let me grab out the one that I'm going to need, which is this one here, and get that nice and tight. Perfect. And that has got so much resistance in it. That's in place. So we can still part the end if we need to, which is what we're going to do now, because we're going to actually put this into place just on the end. And once again, we are going to use friction discs in this. So these are going to go in here, so we can get this side in. That was tricky, so they're in both ways. I've just got to tighten this up again. And they are warning us that this is very, very heavy now. But there you go, that's in place. I do have 2 more E-screws here. What these are for is to actually just hold this leg together now. So we're going to be putting these into the 2 holes here. One this side. And one the other side. Obviously we couldn't do that before because we needed to get that end in. But with that in place, apart from the trim that we need to put in, that is how big the arm is. And as I said, it is able to articulate. It's going to be another 3 of these. So stage 68. Here's the instructions. And we've got the trim panels there, which look like this. And I believe that's almost completing how this is going to look. Wow. Okay. So I'll just get stage 68 open. And again, I am still working on this side here. So first thing I've got is this detail, which is going to be slipping into the end just here like that. Held in from the other side with G screws. We've got a different kind of screw this time. These are flange screws. And hopefully on one of the cameras, oh God, this is so heavy. You can see where these are going to go. I am thinking the best way to do this is to actually straighten the leg like a stick. It's the easiest way to manage it, I think. Because it really, really is heavy. There you go, that's him. Now, on this side here, we've got this really big round clip, which has got a cutout section. Obviously, the cutout section is going to go this way. So then that can fit in the indent just there. I've got one for the other side too. And they just push in, just like that. Just put that to one side while I grab this detail out now. And I do have a bit of trim that I've got to put on here. That looks just like this. And it's actually going to be going in the end, other way around, this way here. Just like that. It's held in with an E-screw, just from the other side. So that's not falling out. This can then fit onto the top just here. I'm going to bend this down now so that can fit like that. That's excellent. And we want to put the underside here on as well. So when we've got both of those sides in, we can screw this in. So one screw is just going to go down the end here, right at the first hole we can see. And the other one's in the third hole that we can see here. So as you can see, that's in there just like that. We do have a cover then to put on, which is going to hide all of those holes. Which is this one here. And it's just a clipping. Do want to make sure that this fits underneath that section. There you go. Perfect. And there we go. That's clipped in just like that. That looks really good. Okay, we just want to hide the detail just there because we've got a screw hole here. So we've got another little part to put in there, which just pushes in. That's hiding the screw hole there. Then we're going to be just hiding the holes just here. By once again putting these on this side. Let me just see if they are different. So we've got one in that side. I'm just going to be putting one in the other side. And just push them in. Perfect. And now I think I can say that that is that spider leg completed. So we must be at the stage now in stage 69 where we're going to be doing a second leg. Let's have a look. The upper right spider leg. Yep. So we're going to be starting the new leg now. Looking like this. I reckon we'll start whizzing through this now as my mind comes back and reminds me of how we did this. Because I will forget. Now with those hex head screws, you can see I've been using these here. We've got a really thick one here. So I'm wondering, is it this one that I'm using for this? It is. And this is a 3mm that I'm using for this. Because what I've got to do is take basically all of this is metal, remember, which needs to be because of the weight of this. This is then going in there like that. And then what we're going to be doing is putting a split washer just over this screw. I'll load this onto my hex head screw here. It just makes things easier, these tools, to put this in. And then screw that in. And then with that in place, as you can see, that is all there is to do in that stage. So stage 70. Here's the instructions. Loads of little pieces here as we extend that joint to make the first part of the leg. And just looking what's in the last two stages, this stage and the next one, there is a lot to do. And if you heard that, that's why. It's solid metal. Right, okay. First part I need is this part here. And then we do have a bracket to put in. Now the bracket is going to be going on this way here. Just like that. It's going to be held in with F screws. Now just because I'm using a super duper screwdriver doesn't mean that I'm not putting these in oil. Because we do want that in tight. We don't want that going anywhere. Okay, so the way this is going to go, we're going to be taking this section here. This long section. This is actually going to be going over the top just like that. Should fit flush there. Now I'm holding that in with 4 of these M3 screws. Now I believe these are 2.5 inch. I'm just going to double check with my hex head. They are. And we'll get these in. Looks like we need to put these in with split washers. I've got them here. And I'll get all 4 of these in place. Now the problem with these builds is obviously, as I said, we are building 4 of these and we've already built 1. So this is going to get kind of repetitive doing this for the next few stages. But I will do it because I'm sure there's going to be some subtle differences on here. Okay, this is the last screw just going into place here. What we want to do then is we want to hide this whole top section. So this part here, which we put the clip in, is then going to be going in here like this. Now what we want to do is ensure that that black section there fits underneath this, so that can't go anywhere. And I'm going to hold this in once again with an M3 screw and split washer. Just so you know, even though we know the size of that, which is 2.5, this little gadget I've got here, look, if I take this out, I'm sure I've got that bit head in here. This revolves around here. So let's just have a quick look. I have, look, that one is a 2.5 here. So if I just take that out and try this one here and see if I can put this in with my gadget of choice at the moment. Look at that. That's perfect. Okay. On the sides here, we obviously want to hide all these holes. So I've got these clips here which do have locating lugs on them. So that one's going to go in that side there, which means I've got this one to go in the other side just there. And then underneath, to hold these in, we've got these little parts here which fit in just like that. They're actually held in with V screws. So I've got one for this side. Turn it over and just put one in the other side there. Now these V screws are colour coded at the top, so when they're in, obviously they match the paintwork there. Now we can extend this out now to the next joint. And this is what that next joint's looking like. Basically, this is just going to be going over the top like that. And again, this is held in with those M3 hex head screws with their corresponding washers. And one there. I'm then going to be taking this little piece here, and just like we did last time, I'm going to be putting in one of these clips, which will be sitting in just like this, held in with an F screw. Once again, make sure that that's in there tight. You don't want that loose. This can then go over this section here, and again, we want to just slide this black bracket underneath that lip there, so then that can slide on just like that. Once again, holding it in with one of these M3 screw and washer. I'm using a lot of tools in this stage. Perfect. And that is all there is to do in that stage. So the last stage of these 6 that I've been doing today, we're just continuing what we've just done. Building this up like this. Okay, so let's open this up. Okay, so the first section that's going to go on looks just like this. This is actually just going to go on here, but what we want to do is make sure that fits flush in there, just like that. But we do have to put another side of this on, which are these 2 little points here. We need to make sure we put them in the right way. So this one's going to go in there like that. And this one here is going to go in there just like that. And I'm holding these in with E screws through all the holes we can see on the other side. And there's a lot of them. So let's get all of these in. It's basically 2, 4, 6. And there you go, that's the last one just going in there. So that's looking just like that. Okay, so to hide these holes, we've got 3 of these things here. Now in the instructions, they're saying they're 9, 10 and 11. They're actually labelled 1, 2, 3. So that's going to make it a little bit difficult. Okay, so I'm guessing, let's try number 1 in this top one here first. If I've got it wrong, then I make mistakes so you don't have to. But that looks like it fits fine. Number 2 would go in here. Oh, look, actually, ignore the instructions because, let me just get this one in. There's that one. Because, look, on here, you've got a number 3 stamped in there. So just match up the numbers. They are very hard to get in, but they do snap into place just like that. Okay, now we've done that, we can extend on to this now. So, this section here is going to be going on top. Let's get it the right way round. Just like this. this way round, just like this, into there. Once again, we've got these M3 washers and nuts to put in. We're going to want 3 of these. Once that's in, I can put this part just over the top here. That fits in just like that. It's held in from the other side here with F screws. Just through the holes here. And then just an M3 screw, which will go through this hole here. Perfect. Again, we're going to be hiding this joint by putting these little blankers in and pushing them into place. So on that side and on that side, building up. I've got a little detail that I just need to put into here, which just looks like this. And it's actually going to go into the hole here. So it's ingressed in there. And then this is going to be going into place. This goes on the end like this. And this time, if I can make that straight, stand by it. There you go. It will lie down better. I'm using 3 of these M3 screws. That's perfect. All we're going to do then is to put this detail here over the top, just like that. And once again, these are the same M3 screws to hold this in place. Excellent. So with that in place, that's all there is to do in this stage. That's all there is to do in these 6 stages. Now, this is really heavy. Now, we're going to have 4 of these. So I am wondering how heavy this model is going to be. It's going to be ginormous. But to me, I mean, it's half the size of my body, this is. I haven't got a clue. I'm looking 1, 2, probably about 3 feet each one of these. But very enjoyable. I'm glad we're back on this one again, especially with the race of Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is an absolutely awesome film if you haven't seen it. But other than that, I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.